Did you guys know that there was a Final Fantasy anime series? No? Okay, good, because I didn't either until I came across these and had to buy them. Yep, this exists. Hey guys, what's up, what's happening? You got the King of Games 98 here. How you doing? Hope y'all are doing good. And it occurred to me that I haven't done a new anime review video in, I want to say, 3 months. Crazy. Well, I recently picked these up at my local flea market, and as soon as I saw them, I had to buy them because I knew what these were, but I don't think a lot of other people do, so I thought this would make great content material for an anime review video. Okay, so if you've never seen or heard of Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals, here's basically how I would sum it up without spoiling anything. So, the series takes place on planet R. That's what they call it, don't ask me why. Planet R's existence is coming to an end. It is maintained by 4 elemental crystals: earth, water, fire, and wind. 3 of the 4 crystals were stolen by evil forces, and Planet R is suffering many grave disasters due to that. They have to save all 4 crystals or it's the end of Planet R. And when I say they, I mean the main characters, which are Lanali, her, and Pretz, which is him. So yeah, that's how I sum up Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals without really spoiling anything. Now, for the remainder of this review, I'm going to be talking about my thoughts, feelings, and opinions about Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals, and then we're going to wrap up this anime review video. Now, let's see. Okay, so Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals came out in 1997 in North America, but came out earlier in Japan in 1994. Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals takes place 200 years after the Final Fantasy V video game. And so, since this anime series takes place after the Final Fantasy V video game, I have to include these. My copies of Final Fantasy V Advance for Game Boy Advance and Final Fantasy Anthology for PS1, which contains Final Fantasy V and VI. Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals is a 4-episode OVA, so it's only 4 episodes long. It was distributed by Urban Vision in the US. I only know them for doing Vampire Hunter D. Other than that, that's it. Urban Vision lost the distribution license, and it hasn't been released on any other format, such as DVD or Blu-ray, since its initial VHS release. So if you want an actual physical copy of Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals, you're going to be looking for the original VHS releases of it, like what you see there. Each episode is 30 minutes. Each episode is divided into a chapter, and at the beginning of each episode, there is a recap of previous events, kind of like with what George Lucas did with the Star Wars movies. I really like that, by the way. So, this was English dubbed, how I watched it. I thought it was okay, not the best, not the worst. The animation is good for its time, and the English dub was obviously done by Urban Vision. Now, there was a few things that I didn't like about this anime series, and we're going to get into that right now. The English dub was okay, like I said. Wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. It was okay at best. The story it didn't really hold my interest, honestly. I still was enjoying watching it, but it just did not hold my interest. The Chocobos in Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals did not look like how they look in the games, which, that was bull. And this is just my personal opinion here, but I felt as though Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals really suffered from not having any characters from the Final Fantasy V video game. I don't know. That's just me, my personal opinion there, but I seriously feel like that would have helped this anime series maybe become more popular, maybe become well known. look, I know I'm probably going to get some flack here for this. Even though I own Final Fantasy V, the video game, I have not actually played it. Yes, I know. Boo, boo, you suck. Yeah, I know. So with that being said, I don't really know any characters from that specific Final Fantasy game, but if they could have had at least a couple, I'm saying one, two, possibly three characters from the game in this anime series, I feel like it would have made a difference. Would I recommend this? If you're a fan of the Final Fantasy video game series, yes. And if you especially like Final Fantasy V, the video game, yeah, I probably would. So without further ado, my final rate for Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals is going to be a 6 out of 10. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.